So what I want to talk about today is two things. One is healthy living, so healthy eating, healthy living, and the other one is moving my shit. So both fuck me off for clearly different reasons, and we'll start with healthy living. I so want to be a healthy person. I really do. I mean, and when I say that, I want to do it, but every part of me every fibre in my being is an unhealthy person. Inside, I am a humongously fat person. Outside, you'd think I'm not going to say you think I'm an athlete, because you wouldn't, but you'd just think he probably eats quite well and does a bit of light exercise to stop himself from putting on any weight, and you'd be wrong. I eat terribly. I do nothing at all. I'm the laziest person I know, and I kind of like that. That's who I am, and I've tried. God knows I've tried. I mean, I pay £45 a month for a gym, and I've been paying that for the last year, and I haven't been. The only time I've been to the gym was when I signed the papers to start going to the gym. That's how lazy I am. I'm paying money, but I'm doing nothing. I tried eating healthily. I did, but my problem is this, alright? I don't like salad. Okay? So when I do eat salad, I have to put something on it. That might be a massive blob of coleslaw. It might be quite a lot of salad cream. Both of which completely remove the point of eating a healthy salad, because you've just put a load of shit on it. You know, mayonnaise basically, which is full of fat. So that's one thing with healthy living. The healthy food side of things annoys me, and the other thing that annoys me about healthy food is that as much as I don't like eating healthy food, I think I think it's safe to say that healthy food is, one, more expensive, and two, more of a faff. Getting some fish fingers and some chips and some beans out of there, which is an awesome meal. I mean, I'm 37 and I'm eating like a child, but I've got fish finger, chips and beans. I you know, how can you not like that? Getting that out of the freezer and chucking it in the oven is piss easy. Putting a fucking salad together and making some sort of couscous or some sort of rice and some, you know, some grilled fucking meat or grilled fish or something with a nice sauce, you know, or as you posh people might say, is a bit like, oh man, I've really got to do this, you know, I've been working all day and now I've got to do this? Really? Surely I can just throw something in the oven. Surely that. So, you know, I find it's quite easy to not do healthy food purely because it's a lot of faff. But then we come down to the money side of things. It is more expensive to buy healthy food, without a doubt, and there's two reasons for it. One, healthy food, it is generally fresh, so that causes extra money costs. So you know, you can't really buy healthy food in bulk. So, you know, vegetables, all right, you can buy frozen veg, but vegetables and salads go off quite quickly. So you can't really buy them in bulk like you can just chuck stuff in the freezer. And that's another reason why it costs more money. And you know, it's also very easy to order a takeaway, which in some cases doesn't cost too much money. So I honestly think this is one of those things where, and I hate to say it because I don't want to be one of those people that's like, get the government involved, but I do think the government should fucking weigh in on this one and just kind of make fast food and frozen chips and crap expensive, more expensive than healthy food, to give people an incentive to turn the other way, you know. So that's the food side of healthy living, and you can see why it pisses me off. I mean, I don't, you know, three things: one, more expensive; two, more of a faff; three, not a great lover of healthy food. So that's that. Then we get into the exercise side of it. Whenever I've done exercise, I've enjoyed it. And to give you an idea of how many things I've tried, just to make you aware that I have tried a lot of things, I have started up kayaking and bought about, in total, over the years, about £2,000 worth of kayaks and about £1,000 worth of kayaking equipment. I specifically changed my car so that I could put a roof rack, because I used to have a convertible, so I could put a roof rack on my car and go kayaking. And I did fresh, like flat water kayaking, I did white water kayaking, I did sea kayaking, I did it all. And what I found was, it's a faff. There's going to be a trend here, people. You're going to notice a trend. It's a faff. You've got to get up in the morning, you've got to plan where you're going to go, you've got to buy a licence to go on the water, you know, you've got to fucking get your boat to where you want to go, and you've got to make sure that you go with at least two people, unless you're doing a round trip, which is, you know, not that often when you're going down a river. You've got to find someone else with a car who's got a roof rack, so that you can basically have one person at the putting point and one person at the get out point. So you've got to plan it, and you've got to faff around and fuck about and all this lot. So yeah, I did it for a few years and I had some fun. I did have some fun, but it wasn't continuous. It wasn't like every weekend this is what I was doing. I mean, for a while it was, don't get me wrong, for a while it was every weekend, but it didn't last. Like many things with me, it just didn't last. And so then I decided, well, actually, I spend a lot of time at a local water sports lake, Bray Lake, just to call it out, and it's a brilliant place, great place, love it, absolutely love it. And I decided that actually, why don't I help out there more? Why don't, there's a lot of, you know, kind of walking around and heavy lifting and all that lot, and also I could become an instructor and teach people how to kayak, and that'd be another good way of getting out and doing stuff. That was great, so I did that, became an instructor, and I taught about 3 lessons. That was worth it, thanks a lot. And, you know, so let's say that portion of my life was over. What was it replaced with? Well, did a bit of windsurfing for a little while, and again I really enjoyed it. It was really good fun, but you know, it was something that you couldn't do every day, or at least every other day. And you know, if you wanted to progress it, you had to move away from the lake and get yourself out on the sea, and you know, that again is planning and transportation and, you know, all that stuff. So you know, it was like, well, I'm probably not going to do this. Then we kind of moved. Then I bought an open canoe, Canadian canoe. Did that. Went and lived out the canoe for a week on a Scottish loch. That was amazing. Absolutely incredible experience. You know, digging a hole to go to the toilet, and you know, making a fire and cooking your food and all that. And it was brilliant. I loved it. Great. I only did it once though. And again, it's, you know, you've got to go somewhere. You've got to, you know, you can only go to Scotland, because Scotland is the only place in the UK where you can free roam, as in you can camp anywhere you like, and nobody can moan at you about it. So had to go to Scotland. So, you know, well, that's a long fucking way. That's like 8 hours, and you've got to plan that, and you've got to, you know, have other people and all this lot. So, you know, that didn't last. So yeah, whitewater kayaking, windsurfing, did a bit of sailing in between, a little bit of sailing. That didn't last. I loved it again. Really enjoyed it. Didn't really last. So, you know, so let's have a look. So we did whitewater kayaking, we did sailing, we did windsurfing, we did open canoeing. Then what did we move on to? Oh, then we moved on to stand-up paddleboarding, because actually stand-up paddleboarding is amazingly good for your core fitness. It is very good and very easy to do. However, in my opinion, it's quite possibly the boringest thing you can do on water. It's so boring. A kayak is very manoeuvrable. A stand-up paddleboard is basically a surfboard that's fucking big, that doesn't want to really turn. and is a real pain in the arse. Now, what is good for stand-up paddleboarding is stand-up paddleboard surfing, and I have 2 stand-up paddleboards, and I do go surfing, not that often, but I'll have at least one summer holiday a year where I do go stand-up paddleboard surfing, and it's really good fun. But again, I'm not doing it all the time, and I need something that's continuous. So that kind of went out the window. Don't really do that often. So what do we move on to next? Well, let's have a think. I thought about doing rock climbing. However, that became a bit of a pain because there's only one place. It's in Reading. It's indoors. It's fucking awesome, apparently. I booked a course. I got ill and they wouldn't refund. I couldn't make the day. I gave them ample notice. They wouldn't refund both mine and my other half's money. They'd only refund mine. So they pissed me off and I didn't go. There's that. Fucking hell. So, okay, so that's rock climbing out the window. Then we move into mountain biking. Now this seemed like a brilliant one for me because I like bikes. I used to ride bikes when I was a kid for miles. And I just thought this is something I can do after work every night without fail, go out for a ride and I can keep fit. So I bought a hybrid bike, used that for a little while, probably every weekend for about 2 months. Yeah, I kind of stopped it. Then I thought, well, the problem is that I'm on my own quite a lot. So I know, girlfriend buy a mountain bike, I'll buy a mountain bike, an off-road mountain bike, and we'll go off-roading. That would be cool. So I went to an off-road mountain, Swindley Forest off-road intermediate run. Pretty fucking awesome. Really enjoyed it. We went out on a few rides. Really enjoyed that. Brilliant. I've spent quite a bit of money on mountain bikes, so 700-800 quid. I've spent another £400 on a rack to go on the back of my camper van so I can take the mountain bikes with me when I go camping. Let's just say I've had that rack for about a year and I've not taken my bikes once on the back of that. So that worked out well, didn't it? So that's mountain biking. I've now got them in the garage and I don't do that anymore. Paragliding. Oh, paragliding. The love of my life. Quite possibly the most amazing thing I've ever done in some of the most amazing places I've ever been. Flying with a plastic bag over your head across the Austrian or in the Austrian Alps is the best experience of my life. Very closely followed by getting my first motorbike. But it's an amazing experience. I love paragliding. I spent a fortune. I mean, paragliding kit does not come cheap. I spent about £6,000. No, more than that. About £7,000 on paragliding kit. And I did it a lot. I did a lot of paragliding. I went abroad and did paragliding. I've been abroad 4 times now and done paragliding. It's great. I love it. The problem is that the one thing you realise about paragliding quite quickly is it doesn't keep you fit. You spend most of your day sat on a hill waiting for the wind to be right, chatting and eating crappy food, and then you spend 2, maybe 3 hours in the air sitting in a giant hammock flying around. Mentally, very, very taxing. Physically, not so much. So then I thought, well, I need something I can do every day. I need something that's fun. What can I do? Brilliant idea. Snowboarding. There's a snowboard centre up the road from me. Up the road, a half an hour, 40-minute ride from me. Let's go snowboarding. Indoor centre, yes. Sounds great. Let's do that. So we did that. We learned. We got all the way through it. We were doing it once a week after work and on weekends. It was brilliant. It was great fun. Then I stopped going. So I stopped going. Not after I'd bought the boots, the helmet, the snowboard, and I bought the same for my girlfriend. So that was another, coming up to £2,000. And then this little baby came into my life and all fitness went way out the window because I loved this bike. I love being out on it. I love vlogging and now I can't be bothered with fitness whatsoever. So, what have we learned about me? Well, I don't like fitness. Don't like healthy food. I do like spending a lot of money on shit that I very rarely use. And and let's just recap of all the things that I've done. We had whitewater kayaking, sea kayaking, flat water kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, sailing, windsurfing. Tried rock climbing. Didn't really do rock climbing, but I was gonna. Snowboarding, paragliding, mountain biking, road biking. Oh, I did running. I did a bit of running for a little while as well. And I did do swimming. I do like swimming. I do like swimming, but I'm too lazy to go. So that kind of brings me back to something that I do. What am I good at? And I'm good at all those things. But what am I really good at? What do I excel at? I excel at sitting down. I'm really good at sitting down. If there was an Olympic challenge for sitting down, I'd be the world's best at sitting down. Because everything I do that I really love is basically sitting down. Paragliding, sitting down. Motorbiking, sitting down. Playing on my PS4, sitting down. I think it's time I resigned myself to the fact that I don't like healthy food. I don't like fitness. I do like being lazy. And that's my life. That's who I am. That's the way it's going to be. So, there you go.